करुपश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। योऽन्ता प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयततुलशक्तिधरा स्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं। कथाञ्चन स्मृते यस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत्, विस्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्रीचैतन्यनामामृतम्। Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome everyone to day 2 of our discussion on the sacred space. Yesterday we had 2 sessions. I took 2 sessions on sacred space, creating a sacred space. And today is part 3. But I want to know first, how many of you were present yesterday in the class? Keep your hands up, I just want to see you. Oh, many of you are not there yesterday. Okay. So okay, then in that case we'll have to do a little bit of summary. So anybody, okay, those of you present yesterday, is there anything that you remember? Not, there are 2 kinds of remembrance. One is intellectual remembrance. Okay, this is the point I remember. No, I'm not asking about what you remember intellectually. I'm asking you, is there anything you remember from yesterday's class which has stayed with you, in the sense which has entered from the head to the heart? Is there anything from yesterday's class that will help us set the mood for today's most important third session? Hare Krishna. Wait, raise your hand. Yes. Aryan 1 and
Aryan 2.
What about Aryan 1 and Aryan 2? For those who have not been there yesterday, would you like to briefly say what it is actually?
So Aryan 1 is where you look at it outwardly, where you want to impress the world, and Aryan 2 is inward, where you kind of embrace your character.
Yes, we spoke about 2 personalities we all have, Aryan 1 and Aryan 2. And it's all about our external world and internal life. So we spoke on how to create a sacred space where we develop the Aryan 1, Aryan 2. Yes. Anything else anybody remembers from yesterday's class? We'll just take 2-3 minutes more. I just want to know if don't have to see the notes. I'm not asking you to. I'm not doing a memory test. And if you don't have any answer, it's perfectly fine. It's just that if there's something that has resonated with you, that has stayed back, only then you speak. Don't force yourself to say yes or no. Yes.
Princess and 3 prince.
Princess and 3 prince. What about that?
There was one of a princess, and when 3 princes came they were loving her. They wanted to really marry her.
Correct.
And they got the news last night before that she had passed away. But they still didn't give up. They stayed there because they were so much in love with her. So Prince 1, he was so much in love with her that he sacrificed himself when princess was born. Funeral was done. He gave himself as a sati. And the second prince, he stayed there and said, no, I love so much that one day I have got faith in God that one day she will come back. And the third prince, he said, I'm not going to give up my life or stay here, but I will do something for her. He went to the mountains, he did meditation, and he got Sanjeevani for her, and she was alive. And he got that, and when she was alive, the first prince who sacrificed himself, they both.
All of them said they want to marry her.
Yes, all of them they said want to marry her, but then king said to her, you need to
Choose.
which
So who
one
did
you
she
want to
choose?
marry. She chose Prince second.
Why?
Because he was the one who, like he was waiting for her, and he had faith in his love.
Yeah.
And the first prince who gave Sati himself to her, he was born as her brother. And while the third one, who went and bought the Sanjeevani, he was like her father. So she can't marry him. So she had to marry the second prince who was waiting for her.
So you remember that from yesterday. Thank you. Is there anything that is from the yes, Mataji and then Prabhu? Yeah.
The main thing that I can remember from
Just one point, yeah.
Hare Krishna, is the culture of hearing. That
Culture of hearing, yes. Thank you. Thank you, yes, Mataji. Anything from culture of hearing that you...
The culture of hearing is something that you're doing constantly,
Yes.
on a regular basis, not a one-off that you do one today and then after...
Perfect. Thank you.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Mataji. And then Prabhu.
So mine is also about the culture of learning. A culture of learning sharpens our intelligence. Otherwise, our intelligence becomes a lawyer for the mind.
Ah, yes. Intelligence is supposed to know better. Intelligence is supposed to help us overcome the tantrums thrown by the mind. But unfortunately, instead of helping us, intelligence becomes a lawyer for the mind. Thank you. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So yesterday there was an important point which stuck to my heart was the four things which helps you connect to the cosmic intelligence. So Jnana, Vairagya, Aishwarya and Dharma.
Yes.
And then the five points which you mentioned which helps you...
We need to practice this.
Yes. So one was vows, second was taking direction from senior devotees, third was reading and hearing Bhagavatam or scriptures, then the fourth was
Association of equals.
association of equals, and the fifth was silence, which means
Integrity of speech.
integrity of speech.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I'm glad you liked those points because that was the main message I wanted to give yesterday. I was hoping all of you would remember that. Yes, thank you. Anybody else wants to share something that has stuck with you? Since you want to say something, Mataji? Please.
Yeah, I remember your nanny's, the love, because, that was beautiful, because how, like parents, grandparents, they love family, children, but, when they are in danger, like Srila Prabhupada all the time called rascals, and they say, why? Devotees are asking, why you all the time calling rascal, rascal? But Srila Prabhupada was so concerned, and he loves everybody so much, he wanted to take everybody to Krishna. So whenever he says, when you want to correct somebody, you call rascals. And like your nanny, like first she was so frightened, she slapped, and then she, loved and kissed the children. So this is, Krishna is like that as well.
Yes. Thank you. I think you spent considerable time yesterday explaining why Srila Prabhupada was using strong language. And we discussed how this is not simply Prabhupada. Even the Bhagavatam speaker, main speaker of Bhagavatam, the first speaker, Shukdev Goswami uses very strong language. And we discussed why it comes from a space of what? The strong language comes from a space of love and compassion. Yes. Thank you so much, Mataji. Anything else? Anybody? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I got to admit that I binge watched your videos, and I connected, you explained about the mind and Krishna, that left side is mind and right side is Krishna. Not in this, but in one of your YouTube videos. So I connected Aryan 1 with the mind and the Aryan 2 with the Krishna.
Yes. Beautiful. That is nice. Thank you. Okay? Anybody else? Fine. So we are talking yesterday about sacred space. If we have to advance in spiritual life, we need to create a sacred space inside of us. And then we discussed, we are struggling to create that sacred space because Aryan 1 is loud, noisy. And we have to awaken Aryan 2. And there are 3 ways of doing that. One is through service, which we said we won't be discussing in this workshop, in this retreat, because service is service is something all of you are already doing. We are going to discuss 2 other principles. One was, anybody remembers what are the other 2 principles that we are planning to discuss in this?
Chanting.
Hearing and chanting. And yesterday second session was all on hearing. And especially we discussed the 5 things we need to do to make our intelligence very strong and connected to God. Taking vows, guidance from seniors, association of equals, studying scriptures, and following integrity of speech. But today we are going to discuss about chanting. How many of you chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra minimum every day? Please raise your hands. Thank you. How many of you don't chant at all? It's okay, I'm not going to judge you. Just I want to know so that I know where you all are. How many of you don't chant Hare Krishna? Even 2 rounds? Anybody chanting 2 to 8 rounds every day? Okay. I understand everybody is chanting at least few rounds. Okay? Fine. So there are 2 topics I want to discuss on chanting. One is glories of holy name. What actually happens when we chant? What happens in our lives when we have a daily practice of chanting? And then second, I want to give an amazing practical case study which I recently witnessed on chanting. And after these 2 I present, we can have some questions. So please listen to this carefully. If you do the case study first, you may not be able to appreciate where is it coming from. So I will give a little theory also. Okay? Well, so what happened 550 years ago, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had incarnated, he would spend all his time at a place called Gambhira. Gambhira is a place in Jagannath Puri. That was his residence. And Gambhira literally means grave. Lord Chaitanya would be very grave in that place. It would be very intense. And whole night you would be chanting. You would feel intense separation from Krishna. And you would be constantly crying, oh Krishna, where are you? You would be like feeling an intense, externally it may appear he's sad, he's crying. But that was from a space of intense love. So although externally it may appear to be a sad event, but it was spiritual ecstasy. Because in relation to Krishna, even when there is crying, that crying is a billion times more happiness giving than the jubilation you go through in material world. Mahaprabhu would be crying intensely. But one day something strange happened. He had 2 assistants, Sarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai. So Mahaprabhu would hold their arms, shoulder, and then he would cry. Sometimes he would rub his face against the wall. It was a stone wall, and it would like bring scratches on his face. He would cry remembering Krishna, intense. But on this particular day, he did something different. He started smiling. Remember, Lord Chaitanya would cry the whole night remembering Krishna. But on this day, he smiled. He laughed. He was happy. And he said something profound to Sarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai. And through both of them, Lord Chaitanya is telling all of us, because we are going to come 550 years later. So we need to know what is chanting of holy name actually. So Mahaprabhu said something very interesting. Can you please repeat this verse after me? Harsha Prabhu kahe suno, Harsha Prabhu kahe suno, Sarup Rama Rai, Sarup Rama Rai, Nama Sankirtana Kalo, Nama Sankirtana Kalo. Harsh Prabhu kahe. With great happiness, Mahaprabhu said, Harsh Prabhu kahe shuno, Sarup Ram Rai, Sarup Damodar, Ramantarai, listen to me. I want to tell you something very good news. What is that good news? Nam Sankirtana Kalo Parama Upay. Kali Yuga, the greatest solution for all suffering is Nam Sankirtana. So what happens? Or why Mahaprabhu is telling Sarup Damodar that Sankirtan, chanting is so important? And now Mahaprabhu reveals. Again, let me repeat these verses after me when I chant first time. Sankirtana Yagya Kalau Krishna Aradhan Seito Sumedha Pai Krishnera Charan Sankirtana Yagya Kalau, in Kali Yuga, Krishna Aradhan, worship of Krishna is best performed by Sankirtan. Sankirtana Yagya Kalau, Krishna Aradhan. And who are the intelligent people? Sumedha, Seito Sumedha Pai, Krishnera Charan. Intelligent people who chant Hare Krishna, they will get Krishna. See, whatever spiritual activities we are doing, ultimately we are doing it so that we can get Krishna's love, so that we can attain the highest perfection. And in Kali Yuga, Mahaprabhu is declaring very boldly that we can all get love of Krishna simply by chanting Hare Krishna. It is such a simple process. Sometimes it is, we don't understand. It is so simple that we miss it. I don't know if it has happened with you. Sometimes things are so simple and easy that we think, oh, we just miss it. Like I remember as a young boy, in school we had one maths, one particular maths exam. I remember one particular question, the end was very easy. We just had to find the mean. We were given some 10 numbers. It was the easiest question, and it had 8 marks. And I remember I saw that question. I said, no, there is a catch here. It can't be so easy. 8 marks just to find the mean. No. I'll deal with this later. So I attempted all the other questions first. And then when I came to that, I was like, 9, 8 marks for this? No, that is a catch. And finally the bell rang and the examiner took the sheet. I couldn't attempt that question. And then when I came out of the examination hall, we used to have this, everybody is discussing, what is the answer to this, how you attempted this question, is shared. And then everybody is talking about this particular sum. And then somebody said, it's simple, mean is this, and this is the way to answer. And when they were discussing that, suddenly it dawned on me what a fool I was. I had unnecessarily complicated it in my mind, thinking that it can't be so easy. And because of my complicated mind, I missed 8 marks. I lost 8 marks. This is what is happening with many of us when we come to Hare Krishna movement. We hear devotees say, pick up your bead bag, chant Hare Krishna, and we think, it's simple, just Hare Krishna, that's it. We want some action, we want some complicated yoga exercise. See, when we are doing something physical, we feel we are doing something. Like if you are playing tennis or learning Bharatanatyam, there is some physical activity. So we think there's a lot of hard work involved. In chanting, because it is simply you're sitting in one place and moving your beads, we think there is no hard work needed. And we think, oh, it's so easy, maybe it's not the real thing. And it's free. When you go to any spiritual organization and they teach you some complicated mantras and they give you diksha, they charge a lot of money. Here Hare Krishna is free of cost. If something is given free of cost, people suspect. It is of no value. It has to be very expensive. So that's unfortunately the Kali Yuga people. Prayena alpa ayusha kalo tasmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya upatrutha manda bhagya. They're unfortunate. We don't understand how powerful this holy name is just because it is easily available, just because it is free. And there are a few things we miss out, and that's why we don't get the blessings of the holy name. But if you do it the right way, then Mahaprabhu is telling Swarup Ramananda Rai That 3 amazing things will happen in your life. You know what are those 3 amazing things? Okay, this is the most important verse which I wanted all of you to chant. Please repeat. Nama Sankirtana hoite.
Nama Sankirtana hoite.
Sarva Anartanash.
Sarva Anartanash.
Sarva Shubhodaya Krishna.
Sarva Shubhodaya Krishna.
Premera Ullas.
Premera Ullas.
When we take shelter of Nam Sankirtan, Nama Sankirtana hoite, the first thing, Sarva Anartanash, the unwanted things of the heart will go away. Cleansing will happen. Cleansing. Second, Sarva Shubhodaya means all auspiciousness. Your life will become auspicious. And third, Krishna Premera Ullas, will attain love for Krishna. If the most important person in your life, you come to know is going to come to your house, what do? Like say your Guru Maharaj. You come to know from his servant that he wants to come to your house, he has remembered you. And he's saying, oh, I want to go to your house, his house or her house. So then you are like, wow, Guru Maharaj is coming to our house tomorrow. So what is the first thing you do? You start cleaning the house. So after you clean the house, the whole cleaning is done. Then cleaning is done, the gross cleaning is done. The second thing you do is, you make the house auspicious. Like you put the right kind of flower vases, some paintings, some decorations, some auspicious things, isn't it? You have altar clean. So first is the gross cleaning, sarva anartha, nash. Second is auspiciousness. Something beautiful you will create. Some swastik symbols, some what is that? Banana leaves, some banana trees, leaves you will put it up. You create auspiciousness in your house. And then when Guru Maharaj comes, enters the house, your heart would be overwhelmed with love and gratitude. So this is how Nam Sankirtan does. When you start chanting Hare Krishna, first we will experience cleansing of the heart. The whole cleansing. And then we will see our life is becoming auspicious. You know what used to trouble us no longer troubles us internally. We are able to tolerate the vicissitudes of material life more soberly and greatly. We are like, okay, we are more dignified in suffering. And then the third and most important thing, we will experience presence of Krishna in our lives. It's like Guru Maharaj entering the house. All 3 will happen by chanting of holy names. This is a very important verse. Can you please chant this again? Nama Sankirtana hoite.
Nama Sankirtana hoite.
Sarvanartanash.
Sarvanartanash.
Sarva Shubhodaya Krishna.
Sarva Shubhodaya Krishna.
Premera Ullas.
Premera Ullas.
Sarva Anartanash is the first one. Sarva Shubhodaya means all auspiciousness. And third, Premera Ullas. Love for Krishna will rise in the heart. So once again we chant, because in ISKCON we chant all auspicious mantras thrice. Nama Sankirtana hoite.
Nama Sankirtana hoite.
Sarvanartana.
Sarvanartana.
Sarva Shubhodaya Krishna.
Sarva Shubhodaya Krishna.
Premera Ullas.
Premera Ullas.
Now, you may say, wow, all these amazing things are mentioned in the scriptures. This is just one of the verses I have quoted. And I know many devotees say, Prabhu, you have heard so much glory of the holy name, but in my practical life, I don't experience all of this. I find it a drag. You know, these beats, they are supposed to give us what when we chant? They are supposed to give us love of Krishna. We are supposed to feel loved by Krishna when we are fingering these beats. So we are supposed to be very interested in these beats. We are supposed to be very attached to these beats. But many devotees have secretly confessed to me, and maybe you will confess to your own self, that many of us are more interested not in these beats but in these beats. Right? I could finish. I've seen devotees don't even say I've completed my round. They say I've finished my round. I've finished as if it's something I have to get it done with. Khatam kar do, khatam. So it's a challenge. So and then a bad habit, it gets stuck. We get caught in a loop. And one day, the first day, it appears innocuous, harmless, but the second day, third day, and then we are simply fingering the beats, finishing it off, committing offenses after offenses towards the holy name. And then our chanting doesn't give us all the promises that are mentioned in the scriptures, and we start doubting the efficacy of the holy names. It is like, it is like honey is sweet or sour. It is sweet. And you are told this honey is the sweetest. And you are saying, yes, this is sweet. And then you give it to someone saying, this honey bottle I'm giving you as a gift, this is the sweetest thing you would have ever tasted. And next day, she tells you, or he tells you that, oh, this doesn't taste sweet at all. It's bland. Really? But I gave you the best honey bottle, the best honey. No, but it doesn't taste at all. Really? And then you go to his house and see what he does. And you are shocked what he's doing. He's licking the bottle of honey from the outside. And he tells you, you told me this honey, if I lick, I'll get experience of sweetness. And what will you tell him? You are licking the bottle from the outside. You are not tasting the real honey. Many of us are not tasting the holy name. That's why we don't feel loved, we don't feel sheltered by Krishna. We are simply licking the bottle. It's like my friend, Gaur Gopal, who gives the example that imagine you are given the tastiest gulab jamun. Is gulab jamun tasty or not? Gulab jamun, especially when it is served little hot, blackish, brownish, little crispy, little warm. We are all already celebrating. Just thinking of gulab jamun, our tongue starts salivating. And when you put it on the tongue, an experience. But imagine, you put that gulab jamun on the tongue, but your tongue, there is a small, just 0.5 millimeter thin layer of plastic put on your tongue. And on top of it, you put a gulab jamun. Can you taste? Is there something wrong with the gulab jamun? No. Gulab jamun is tasty. And the tongue will connect with the gulab jamun very well, but there is a problem. And the problem is, what is the problem here? And the plastic sheet. Similarly, the soul and holy name are eternally connected. You just have to bring the holy name in front of the soul, but there is this plastic sheet or the chitta, contaminated mind, intelligence, ego nexus called chitta, which we will discuss more when we are doing the journaling workshop. Our journaling helps us remove this plastic sheet. But chanting the holy name in this mood that I am a servant, I want to serve Krishna, remove that plastic sheet. And then we can taste the holy name. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after telling the glories of the holy name, he then explains how we can actually experience this taste. So, the 3 benefits of chanting holy name. What is the first? Cleansing will happen. Second, auspiciousness. And third, love of Krishna. Now you may say, but I am not experiencing it, and we discussed why we don't experience it, because we are licking the bottle from the outside, or there is a thin plastic sheet in our tongue. How do we remove this? This is the way Mahaprabhu is saying. Uttama Hana Vaishnav Habe Nirabhiman Jive Samman Dive Jani Krishna Adhishthan. When we do these 2 things, not expecting respect and glory for ourselves, and Jive Samman Dive, when we respect others, which is what Aryan 2 does. We discussed yesterday. Aryan 2's life is all about giving. Giving. So when we live in this mood that I want to give and not expect respect from others, then we access holy name. Then we access the real holy name. So this is the secret of chanting Hare Krishna. Now I want to briefly share one example, practical, which I have seen. I know when some of you hear this example now, you think this is shocking, but because I was personally present there, and I can introduce you to all the names that I mentioned now. Let me say I chant 16 rounds every day. I don't chant more. I sometimes chant extra, like on festival days or some special days. But 16 rounds I chant every day. I don't chant extra generally. But there is a group of devotees in Mumbai. I had an experience with them which I want to share and present to you how I am convinced that holy names are extremely powerful and there is something magical in the holy names. There is a godbrother of mine called Ananda Vrindavan Prabhu. He chants every day minimum 32 rounds. Minimum. And every 2-3 days he chants 64 rounds. So how much time does it take to chant 16 rounds? 2 hours. 32 rounds, 4 hours. 64 rounds. So imagine he chants every few days 8 hours of Hare Krishna. So when we are stressed or disturbed because of some bad news, what do we do? Do you pick up the feedback or do you pick up the smartphone? You pick up the feedback? Great. But I know many people who pick up the smartphone. Because smartphone gives us something which feedback doesn't give. There is stimulation and there is satisfaction. There are two different things. I think we are disturbing the child. Kaviraj. So there are two things, stimulation of senses and satisfaction of the soul. These are two different experiences. What is stimulation of the senses? Like when you eat a pizza or you eat a pani puri. That's stimulation of the senses. Satisfaction of the soul or the heart is a much deeper experience. It is beyond the senses. All of you able to relate to this? Now, if you want to stimulate the senses, which of the two will come handy?
Mobile.
How many of you feel this will stimulate the senses? Raise your hand. Nobody is raising hand. How many of you feel this will stimulate the senses? Yeah, everybody feels. That's why when we are distressed, we immediately. But Anandavan Prabhu, whenever he is distressed or something happens, immediately his hand goes into middle hand. Because he is not seeking stimulation. What is he seeking? Satisfaction of the soul. See, this is like a painkiller and this is the medicine. Many of us are attracted by painkiller. I'll tell you this. One man had a chest pain. He went to the doctor. Doctor gave him a long list of medicines and health regimen that he has to follow. And his friend said, "Hey, I'll give you something very easy. Just for half a pound, or no, half a pound is also a lot. 2 rupees, one painkiller you get." I don't know how much that is in your British currency equivalent. Hardly anything, just a painkiller is very cheap. Just take this painkiller and the chest pain will go away. So you have, for this person who has a chest pain, instead of taking all the medicines, he just takes one painkiller. Pain gone. Wow, this is amazing. So I just continue my life as it is. And next time when I get a pain in the chest, I will take a painkiller again. I don't have to bother about all these complicated, long medicines, expensive medicines. Just take a painkiller when my chest pains. Do you think this is a good strategy? No. What do you think will happen eventually? Any guesses, any answers? What will eventually happen to this person? Raise your hand if you know the answer. What will eventually happen? Yes, nothing.
You'll get a heart attack.
You get a heart attack, but I tell you, if you get a heart attack, you take a painkiller. What will happen?
That's placebo.
That's placebo. You're getting into that. No, but I'm just saying, what will happen if he continues to take a painkiller each time he gets chest pain?
The painkiller could cause damage to some other organ, maybe.
That is one. Painkiller could cause damage to some other organs of the body. That is one. Something else will also happen.
He will get used to the painkiller.
He will get used to the painkiller. And what does that mean?
Insensitive.
His body will become insensitive to the painkiller. You're all spot on. Perfect. Anything else? Yes, this is exactly what will happen. A time will come when his chest is paining, heart is paining, and he takes 2 painkillers. No effect. Earlier, 1 painkiller was sufficient. And then, next time he goes through a chest pain, he takes 5 painkillers to get relief. Eventually, a time comes when he takes 10 painkillers and the pain doesn't subside. And then he dies. So, this is a painkiller. This is the medicine. Many of us have substituted the medicine for the painkiller. A time will come in our lives when we will watch Netflix for 7 hours, binge watch all the latest web series and still feel Dil hai ki manta. The heart is just, oh, I'm not happy, I'm so sad. There is some vacuum. Relationships are not working, life is not good. Pain and misery and suffering won't go despite drowning ourselves with lots and lots of electronic stimulation, because these are all painkillers. Again, let me clarify, I'm not against painkillers. You know, if you sometimes watch something, I'm not like holding you guilty or I'm not. It's okay. Painkillers, we all need painkillers, but painkiller is not a substitute for the medicine. Extreme pain, somebody takes a painkiller, it's okay. Like I knew somebody was in depression, and I told him to do 2 things. Play football. I tell him that because he needed some action in life. Somebody was saying, Prabhuji, how can you advocate playing football? But he needed that. That was a painkiller he needed. And then he got exercise, his mind was. Then he was ready for chanting. Anyway, that's another subject matter. But painkiller is okay. You're not against painkiller. The point is, medicine is Hare Krishna. So, Anandavan Prabhu, coming back to his story, he had taken shelter of the medicine of holy names. Every day he chants how many rounds? That is 4 hours. We may watch television for 4 hours, but here is a man who actually chants for 4 hours. And every Ekadashi he chants compulsory 64 rounds, which is 8 hours. And then he started a group online. Devotees are interested to chant in the morning, please join me. And because he is pure, purity is the force. So he attracted people. And morning, hundreds and hundreds of people join his online community. But there is a rule. You can't just come online and keep the video off and do your own things in the kitchen. You have to be sitting in front of him with the video camera on. And the camera should be positioned in such a way that you can be seen clearly chanting. That is the rule. And you have to log in before 5:30 a.m. or something, which is the India time. And you have to sit minimum 2 hours in the japa. And there is a japa monitor who will be watching all the videos. If somebody is not, then you will message that person. So there's a japa monitor. Every hour the japa monitor changes. So there's japa monitor for Prabhujis, there's a japa monitor for Matajis. And it's a super hit initiative. There are so many devotees who join online from America, Australia, Middle East. And there is this group that I think hundreds and hundreds of devotees. But within that, he made a smaller group. Okay, those of you, and that smaller group, those who are qualified, they become eligible to come for a special Jagannath Puri Yatra every year. And this year, 250 people qualified for that special Jagannath Puri Yatra. But only 175 could be taken because they didn't have the facilities. Only 175 people were taken for this special Yatra. Out of which, actually 250 were qualified. You know what is the qualification for this special Yatra? These 250 devotees are those devotees who chant every day, who have 80% attendance in the morning chanting of that morning, the video on and all that, every day. They need to have 80% attendance for 1 year. And you are part of that elite 250 member club. If you also chant 64 rounds every Ekadashi in the last 1 year, with the video camera on again. And believe it or not, twice a year, you also chant 128 rounds.
Wow.
And there were 250 such devotees who qualified. And this yatra in Jagannath, it's not even Jagannath Puri yatra. In Jagannath Puri there is a place called Siddha Bakul, where Haridas Thakur used to chant every day. So this is actually Siddha Bakul yatra. They gather in Siddha Bakul from morning to evening. Afternoon they chant there, and in the evening they have a class. So I was called first time for the yatra last year, and Anand Prabhu told me, my old friend, he said, Prabhu, we will all chant at Siddha Bakul morning 5 a.m. till 1 p.m. Nobody will get up from the seats. 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. everybody is going to chant 64 rounds. And then at 1 p.m. we all take lunch and rest, and 3 p.m. your class starts, the theory. 3 to 7, Chaitanya Charitamrita class. I said, yes sir. And I went for the yatra. So first day I chanted 64 rounds. And it's not easy for me because I am a very passionate person. I need to do a lot of action. But I sincerely do my 16 rounds. I told him, Prabhu, I am not able to chant. But it's very special. You know, we can chant because the energy, because everybody is chanting, that energy sucks you in. But I had to prepare for the classes also. I had to read. And also I was a little restless. So I told him, can I go? Okay, permission granted. Because you have to give classes, and that is his group. He is a guru for that group. He is a leader of that group. And because he is my friend, and he is a grahastha, Anand Prabhu. So he is a very, very dear friend. So he said, okay, permission granted. And I ran to my room, I read, and I come for the class. So I did that last year. But this year was special, same yatra. 5 to 1, it's Siddha Bakul. 1 to 3, lunch and rest. 3 to 7, my class. And 7 to 8, dinner. And you sleep and get up in the morning. Basically, no time for Jagannath Darshan and all the holy places. Last day of the yatra, he is giving you 3 hours to go and visit all the holy places. Rest of the time only chanting at Siddha Bakul. And this year was extraordinary. He said, 5 days Siddha Bakul yatra, but Brajbihari, this year is special. First day of the yatra, 5 o'clock in the morning, we gather at Siddha Bakul and chant till after 1 p.m. No, we chant till 9 p.m. I said, what? 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. No. 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. 128 rounds we will chant. First day, no class. And second day onwards, 5 to 1, and then you have class from 3 to 7. How's the idea? I said, great, bro. But I joined on the second day for that. I joined on the first day. So I didn't go on the first day. I was I knew I won't be able to do it. I knew I can't do it, so I didn't go for the yatra. But I went for the second day because second day was the service. I had to give class. And I was shocked. The first day, 175 devotees were there chanting from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. And remaining 75 devotees who are qualified for the yatra but couldn't come because of the logistics, they attended online and they were there chanting. It was extremely humbling for me. It was as if somebody was slapping me. Hey, Brisbane, sadhu kapda pehna hai. You know, in Govardhan, if you go Vrindavan, sadhus, they do this. Whole day they are chanting, and grahasthas are actually doing other things. Here, grahasthas are all sitting and chanting, and I have brahmacharis running around. It was extremely humbling. I cannot explain. I was feeling as if somebody is those 5 days I was feeling constantly somebody is slapping me. But at the same time, I was feeling love because, just because I was appreciating them, I was experiencing so much joy. But I was also feeling very inadequate. It is a paradox I was mentioning yesterday. Bhakti is like this. You just glorify others doing something wonderful, you get the benefit of it. So I was happy at what they are doing, but I was also feeling somebody is slapping me. I don't have the taste. But then I went the second day for giving class. At 3 p.m. when I entered, this is the only place in my life history, last 27 years of preaching, the only time I have seen where I go to give a class and the audience, everybody is already present. Because the training they have got for the last 3 years is that these 175 devotees are already seated in their seats when I come to give the class. And everybody has their notebook and pen, and everybody is like alert for the 4 hours that I am giving them class. Everybody is attentive. And the next day I take a quiz and I ask questions. Everybody's hand is up. And everybody knows the answer. Like, see, this is the preacher's greatest sense gratification is to have an audience like this. I can't believe that's why I agreed to go for his yatra, although I feel extremely humbled because as a speaker, as a teacher, what a student, what audience you have. And when I enter that assembly, I feel a surcharge in my energy levels. Everybody is in this mode, How can we serve people? Everybody is serving each other. Somebody is cooking, somebody is serving prasadam, everybody is into this mode. And they all these devotees are chanting 128. And out of this 175 who came for the yatra, there are more than 120 devotees who chant 192 rounds once a year on Haridas Thakur's disappearing state. They start at midnight at 12:30 and they end at 10:30 the next night. In between they get breaks to take prasadam also. Again, I am not preaching this because I myself don't do this. So please don't get wrong ideas. I am not saying, okay, all of us we're going to run a Japan marathon. No. The point is not that. That's not the message I am conveying. The message I am conveying is there are people who have given up stimulation for satisfaction. There are people who have chosen the medicine over the painkiller. I am not advocating you to do that because I know it's not easy. I myself can't do it. I know a very, very senior ISKCON guru who made an official statement many years ago. I don't want to get into the controversy now. He said, I tried 192 rounds one day and I vowed I'll never do it again. It was very intense. It's not easy because we are so passionate, so conditioned. But there are people who do this and we should celebrate their glories. We should celebrate their taste and pray that we also get the shelter of the holy name like they have. And now what I'm going to tell you will shock you. Out of these 175 people, there were 3 children. Kartik, Kamakshi and Sattva. I'm telling you again and again, all the names I tell you, I can connect you to them personally. Kamakshi is 11, Kartik is 13, Sattva is 12. Sattva is from Surat. These 3 children also took part in all the sessions. 128 rounds, 1 4-hour class, all of them are sitting. And in the quiz, these children know all the answers. I'm like shocked. Kamakshi writes poetry. She'll hear the whole class. She'll also write a poem. She'll make drawings. She'll answer the questions I ask. She'll also give me a drawing of Jagannath or something after every class. She's 11. Her brother Kartik also chanting 128. That boy Sattva, he is in grade 7 in school. For the last 3 years, since the age of 10, he doesn't go to school before completing his 16 rounds. Again, I'm not saying you do this with your children. Please don't get the wrong idea. Let children play, read, have fun, let them be normal. But I'm just saying there are a group of people like this. Let us worship them and let us understand the glories of the holy name through this. And the last, we had one day extra in this yatra. That was a Shravanam day. Morning, 8 a.m. till 2:30, there were different devotees giving class. And everybody was seated. 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. How many hours it is? 6.5 hours. There was packed lunch. 2:30 everybody took lunch. 3:15 again they sat for the Shravanam day, Shravanam festival. And from 3:30 till 10:30 non-stop, everybody was sitting, including Sattva, Kartik, Kamakshi. And there are elderly people also. That's how many hours total? 7 plus 6.5, almost 14 hours. Shravanam day. So yesterday we spoke on Shravanam, today we spoke on Kirtanam, and there are examples in Kali Yuga, in modern day, 2025. There are devotees who are practicing this. And they are not simply some villagers who have nothing else to do, some simple illiterate people. No! The group contained dentists, lawyers, chartered accountants, highly skilled professionals, including the secretary to the governor of Reserve Bank of India. Now, Reserve Bank of India is like the apex financial institution in India, and the secretary to the governor is like the top job in India. It's a top IAS officer. I mean, there are people from professors from Jawaharlal Nehru University, some the elite academic institutions. They are all his followers. So when I saw all of this, and in the end I was asked to speak at 10:30 in the night. Rajbihari, Prabhu, please give a concluding address. And you have to speak minimum 1 hour. Huh? I finished that class in 20 minutes because I just couldn't speak. I was like overwhelmed to see the enthusiasm. And you know what I spoke? I spoke that story of Brahmaji who went to see Krishna in Dwarka. And Krishna's gatekeepers said, wait. They went to Krishna and said, Krishna, Brahmaji has come. So Krishna told the gatekeepers, go and ask him, which Brahma? So the gatekeepers came and asked Brahmaji, which Brahma? And Brahmaji said, what do you mean which Brahma? I'm Brahma. Brahma with 4 heads. Brahma was proud and Krishna wanted to humble him. And Krishna meditated and invoked the presence of all the Brahmas. Then Brahmas came with, the Brahmas with 100 heads, some with 1,000 heads and 1 crore heads. And our Brahma with 4 heads felt like a small, tiny, insignificant insect. So I just spoke this story in the class. I said, I feel like that insignificant insect in front of all of you saintly people. And this boy Sattva is so cool, he's just sitting like this, smiling the whole time. It's surreal for me. And there was one devotee who was like, now I consider him as my guru. I didn't know him till then. His name is Gudakesh Prabhu. He was also part of the yatra. He's 75 years old. How many of you know Gudakesh Prabhu? Oh, you know him? He's come here?
Yeah, Mira Road.
Mira Road, you know him?
Yeah.
You know him? Oh. Gudakesh Prabhu is 75. And last 20 years, hold your breath. Last 20 years, this man is chanting every day 128 rounds. I'll tell you his schedule. I was staying with him. And I know him now because I learned about his life completely. And he's 75 years old. It's too much to take, right? He gets up at 2 in the morning. 2:30 he starts chanting. And by 3:30 he completes. In 13 hours he completes. Because chanting also has become fast now. 2:30 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. he completes his 128 rounds. And he sits in one pose in the ground at age of 75, without chair, without sofa, without cushion. He sits in, not Padmasana, but the Sukhasana, normal, like you are sitting now. This is the way he sits for 13 hours every day and completes his 128 rounds. And 3:30 he takes a shower, takes lunch, gets ready, and by 4:30 is ready, 4:30 p.m. 4:30 to 7:30, 3 hours. He studies Prabhupada books and the Vaishnava Acharyas, our Goswami's literature deeply. And 7:30 to 9:30, 2 hours, he preaches because his Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, ordered him to preach. At 9:30, he takes a shower and then he gets ready. He becomes fresh at night. And then 10 o'clock he sleeps. And he said 9:30 to 10 I saw him. 9:30 p.m. he takes a shower and then he's ready actually he's fresh and he's alright by 9:45. Last 15 minutes he chants 1 or 2 rounds extra. He says, I should chant extra now, I'm very old. And then 10 p.m. he goes to sleep, 2 a.m. he is up. This has been his schedule for last 20 years. Crazy, right? And in my class, when I was giving class, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., he's sitting like, like all of you sitting, he would sit on the floor and he would laugh, clap his hands, just like as if he doesn't know anything and he's like a simple person. And when he gives class, sometimes he gives class. My God, I saw his classes. He quotes Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Prabhupada, he knows verses like, he'll chant, keep chanting, and he just needs to close his eyes and he goes on and on and on. Because he reads every day 3 hours. And for such a learned person to sit in my class where I'm just taking some entertainment, some small things, But he'll sit and he'll listen and he'll clap his hands, he's like a child. I was totally humbled. And after the class, I remember one day in the night he came to my room. He offered food dandavat to me. Prabhu, please forgive my offenses. If what offenses? If I'm not respecting you properly, and offer because I don't want to lose space for chanting. Tomorrow I have to chant again. Please bless me. I'm like, what is he saying? What we read in the literature about Goswamis, how they are humble. What we read the verse now, Mahaprabhu is saying, Nira Abhiman, Jive Samman, Jive, respect others, don't expect respect. I actually saw it live. This person is just respecting me, chanting, and is in his ecstasy. I said, Prabhu, are you sure you never missed 128 rounds? I'm cynical, So he said, one day I missed. It was my daughter's wedding. So I had to, so I was busy the whole day. So because it's a marriage day, so I couldn't complete my 128 rounds. So I said, how many did you chant? No, I chanted 64 rounds and only then I came out of my room. I said, what? Yeah, I chanted from 2:30 a.m. till I think some 10:30 or something. And then I came out and did all the marriage arrangements. So wow, so you missed 128 one day, okay. He said, yeah, but I made up the next few days. I chanted extra and covered up. I said, Aapko koti danda. He's actually, Guru Maharaj wanted to give him sannyas in 2016 or something. Gopal Krishna Goswami. Because Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj told him to take sannyas. Because he's more than a sannyasi. Because he knows scriptures in and out. When he starts quoting verses from Grad Bhagavatamrit and Harinam Chintamani, I'm stunned. I don't know any brahmacharis who knows as much, who have as much knowledge as he has. So he told Guru Maharaj very humbly that, Guru Maharaj, if I take sannyas, will it affect my chanting? Because he doesn't want to give up service to the holy name. So then Guru Maharaj said, okay, you chant. But you also preach. That's why he preaches every day 2 hours in the evening. But he says, if I take sannyas, then I'll be busy with Guru, disciples and all of that. Then I will not be able to serve the holy name. So there are many examples like this who are focused on, they may not be known to the world, but they have taken shelter of Krishna. So I can go on and on and on about these devotees. But the main point I wanted to say was these two things today. One is how to chant the glories of the holy name. 3 things will happen if we take shelter of the holy names. What are the 3 benefits? First, cleansing of the heart. Second, auspiciousness. Third, love of Krishna. And then I discussed why we are not experiencing this, because we are licking the bottle of honey from outside and we put a plastic sheet on our tongue. And how do we remove this? There are 2 things we need to do. What is that?
Not to expect respect for ourselves
And
respect.
yes. Uttama Hana Vaishnav Habe Nirabhiman Jive Samman Dive Jani Krishna Adhishthan. Knowing that Krishna is in the heart of every living entity, we respect others and not expect respect. And then to explain this reality, I gave the example of this group of devotees I know from Mumbai. Anand Vrindavan Prabhu and his group of 175 devotees, 250 devotees who chant like this. I'll end with this, I also once attended his morning japa just to see what happens. Everybody's video is on, one person's video was not on. I said, how can that be? But I asked him later. I was staying at his house that time, so I said, his video is not on. You know what Ramnath Prabhu said? He said he's an exception, he's been given permission not to keep the video on. I said, why? Very sheepishly telling, who he is? I said, who? If he keeps his video on during japa, everybody else will get bewildered. I said, why? He said, because he is a soldier fighting in Kashmir in the border, and he has his gun on his left hand and his bead bag on the right, and he's in his military uniform. His superiors have given him permission every day to chant for 4 hours with all of us. So every day morning he switches on the video at 5:30. But if he keeps his video on, then people will see that he has bead bag and also gun and his military attire. So we told him, don't keep the video on. So he keeps his video off, but he chants. And then after the chanting, he keeps the bead bag inside, and then again gun. He's at the border. And then I came to know later that there is a group of 150 senior military Air Force personnel in Indian defense who are his followers, who are like, they take a yatra every year to Govardhan, and he's preaching to them and he's giving them holy name. And this is what Srila Prabhupada said, he said our military men should have bead bag on one hand and the gun in the other. So, holy name is extremely powerful. Again, I'm telling you, don't get into complex, don't get into depression, oh I can't do this. Relax, even I can't do this. Just by glorifying them, I feel so happy. My 16 rounds becomes better when I remember them. So, we don't have to do what others are doing, because each one of you here is unique. You have a unique way of serving Krishna. Some of you maybe love to make garlands for Krishna. Some of you may be loving to make cooking for Krishna. Some of you may love to just decorate the altar. Everybody has got a special way of serving Krishna. Because Anand Prabhu does all of this. But he does all of this, I tell him openly, it's because of your wife. She's very cooperative and she's supporting him. That's why he's able to do all of this. One day I told him, you are 60 now, leave everything and go to Vrindavan. Do bhajan. Because we are friends, so I can take liberty. Take Vanaprastha, leave everything. His wife's name is Tulsi Mataji. So I told him, Prabhu, give up everything and go to Vrindavan and do bhajan. Because anyway you are doing bhajan here. He smiled and he said, when I fall sick, my body pains. And my wife Tulsi, she makes nice kada for me. So if I go to Vrindavan, who will give me kada? So then I tell him that he should speak in the classes also. So after that he mentions the glories of his wife also in every second, third class. He says, all the Matajis are doing so much service. So then one day I said, all the Matajis, because not all of them are chanting like you, but they are helping in the program. Some of them are cooking, some of them are arranging. So I said, they will all get the same credit as you. You are chanting 64 rounds, they are not chanting 64 rounds, but they will get the same credit as you. And then immediately stopped. Said, no, they will get more credit. Because they are selflessly serving. That is more important than simply sitting with a bead bag and chanting the whole day. So he has maturity, he has understanding of what is right and what is wrong. And his wife, Mataji, she just chants 16 rounds. She doesn't chant extra, but she is whole day serving devotees. And his son, Raghuna, he is whole day the deities. He will chant 16 rounds, but he will be worshipping deities. And he's become the, he's all the dresses for Radha Gopinath temples in our Chowpatty temple, he's the one who designs the dresses. He's like expert in deity worship and dress making. So he's busy the whole day in that. So everybody has unique taste. So I'm not advocating here that you should all chant whole day. No, do seva, follow your heart's calling, but know that the sacred space can be created by these three things. One is service attitude, which we discussed yesterday, awakening the Aryan 2, and second, hearing, the culture of hearing, and third, culture of chanting our fixed vows, 16 rounds or 8 rounds or whatever, and coming closer to Krishna. If you do this, then we will, all that is promised in the scriptures, we will see it happen in our lives. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Any questions or comments? Sometimes we also think we are Hare Krishna, so we have nobody chants Hare Krishna like ISKCON. Oh, ISKCON is all into holy name. Oh, Anna is also ISKCON devotee. I was glorified it. This all happens in ISKCON only. And then he said, no, Prabhu, if I tell you something, you will be shocked. I said, what? He said, there is a group in Mumbai called Radha Madhav Sudha Prem Mandal. They are not ISKCON. They are not Hare Krishna. They are not even Gaudiya Math. They are nobody. But they simply love Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I will repeat, they are not ISKCON, they are not Gaudiya Math. They have nothing to do with our parampara. But they love Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You know what this group does? Radha Madhav Prem Sudha Mandal. There is a group of people. Every Sunday morning, 7 a.m., they will report at one person's house. Almost 250 people come every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. And from 7 a.m. till 9:30 p.m. every Sunday they will treat them. And they don't get any prasad. They get their own dabba from home. And there's a waiting list of 3 years if you want to host it in your house. So if you give your name now, after 3 years you get a turn. This is happening for, he says, Arunabh Prabhu says, he's been seeing this group since he was a kid. Since now he's 62. So he's seeing it since he was 8 or 9 years old. And it's going on even now. They are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The Hare Krishna Mantra has potency. There are people, and they're all grahastas. They come with their dabba, tiffin box, with sandwich or something. And in the afternoon, they are given half an hour. They all eat their prasad and again join in kirtan. So, there is something magical about holy name. You may not access it right now. But let us follow what Prabhupada has told us. 16 rounds, 8 rounds, 10 rounds, sincerely. Respecting everyone, not expecting respect. And with that simple sincerity, and always appreciate others. My Guru Maharaj always tells me, if you glorify others, you will get the same credit that they get. For what they are. So I keep telling Anand, you chant 64 rounds, I will glorify your 64 rounds, I will get the same. Of course, we should be sincere, we should do our cause. But we need to appreciate these devotees. They have taste, they have love. Hare Krishna. Any comments or questions regarding today's class? Yes, Mataji.
Did I actually glorify someone in this group? Is that okay?
Please.
Sorry to put that Mataji in a spot. Sorry. I just wanted to point out that Chaitanya Prema Bhakti, Mataji was there.
She Chaitanya Prema Bhakti.
Yeah. I've known Mataji for many, many years, and she's a very, very nice devotee for our Gokula. She does lots of services, and everybody knows her here. But she is very inspiring to me because she was also my teacher to teach me to do deity service. But also, I've noticed that when she's not connected doing service to Krishna, I think she's just chanting all the time. And I asked her why she's constantly chanting. And she said it was an instruction from her Guru Maharaj that she should be chanting all the time.
Wow.
So that's my inspiration, so I thought I'd share.
Thank you, Mother.
Hare Krishna. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for this class. I have been thinking, you said we have like 3 things that will help us create a sacred place.
Yes, yeah.
And it's like chanting was what we discussed today, Shravanam, and service. How is it possible that you do, say, suppose someone says, I will do service 10 hours a day. Will you be able to achieve the love for Krishna that way? Or is it necessary to have a balance between all the 3 things? Hare Krishna.
Okay. See, okay, I'll tell you something. There are many ways of answering this. Because some people can't chant the whole day. Can we just do service? Is that okay? Or do we also have to hear? Okay, see if this makes sense to you. See, when you love someone a lot, and if somebody is glorifying that person, wouldn't you want to hear about that person? Let's say there are 2 people in love, and they really love each other, and it's let's say one person's birthday, and all his or her friends are gathered to glorify, celebrate. And the other person says, no, I love her so much, I love him so much, I'll just keep doing service today. So if you love, you will also want to hear. So we all love Krishna, we all aspire to love Krishna. So if you love Krishna, you'll be happy to hear about Krishna. So it's not that it is, we are categorized into separate activities, but actually it's all integrated together. Chanting, service and hearing all goes together. Actually chanting cannot be continued without a service attitude. I didn't tell you many things about him. I told you many times, you are chanting all this is not because you have some taste for holiness, because you have service attitude. You know what he does is incredible. He is actually finance wizard. If you tell him your financial situation, he will give you a planning system by which for the rest of your life you will have enough savings. He will help you plan financially so much. So he basically, every year, he is given so much free advice to so many devotees and saved their lives from financial disaster that he could have earned, I'm telling you, he could have been a billionaire just by his financial consultancy, which is offering free of cost for devotees. It's because of the service attitude. Because of when he's not chanting, he's only serving devotees. So it's only service attitude that will give us taste for chanting. So we cannot separate service from chanting. And we cannot separate hearing from chanting. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that in our process, bhakti, hearing and chanting go together. He says hearing is Swarup Shakti of chanting. Just like we don't worship Krishna alone in our ISKCON parampara. In Gaudiya parampara, we always worship Krishna along with Radharani. It's Radha and Krishna. We don't say only Krishna, right? Yeah. Similarly, we don't say only chanting. Just like Radha is the Swarup Shakti of Krishna, similarly hearing is not different from chanting. We need hearing of the glories of the holy name so that we can chant. And we can't chant without a service attitude. All three are integrated. Having said this, I must also clarify that in the material world, our deliverer is the holy name. It is the holy name that takes us to Krishna. When we are serving all the time, we will get taste for chanting, and that chanting will take us to Krishna. And when we are chanting also, we are chanting in the mood of wanting to serve. When we go back to spiritual world, see, right now in the material world, all the things we do, hearing, service, everything is in the background, and chanting is the main activity. That's why in ISKCON we take vows of chanting 16 rounds. That's why Mahaprabhu said, Kirtanya Sadahari. That's why Prabhupada said, always chant. Why? Because chanting is what is the main activity for Kali Yuga, for material world. But once you leave material world, in the material world, chanting is the main activity. What is in the background? Service, hearing and all of that. Once we go back to spiritual world, you know what will happen? Service is in the main center. Chanting is in the background. Mother Yashoda is serving Krishna. The Gopals are coming. Everybody is decorating Krishna. Krishna's covered boyfriend will come running in the morning and they have to decorate Krishna and they have to get ready to go to the forest. Everybody is serving Krishna. And in the background, what are they doing? Everybody is chanting Krishna's glories. When Mother Yashoda is turning the mill, she is chanting Krishna's glories. Service is the center in the spiritual world and chanting is in the background. Uttaya gopyo pararatra bhoge smritva yashoda sutabalakelim gayanti gope dalimantayantyo govinda damodara madhaveti. So the gopis get up in the morning. Uttaya gopyo pararatra bhoge. What do? Smritva yashoda sutabalake. They remember and they chant. But what is the main activity? Gayanti proche dadimantayantyo. They are singing, but their main activity is turning the mill. Dadimantayantyo. And what are they chanting? Govinda damodara madhaveti. Govinda damodara madhaveti. Govinda damodara madhaveti. Everybody is chanting Govinda, Damodar, Madhava. But they are actually serving Krishna all the time. So right now in the material world, we need to chant because that's how our relationship with Krishna gets connected. That's why we take initiation vows. Is that okay? Does that answer your question?
Thank you, Prabhu. I get asked this question very often that why do you chant for so long? Instead, you could spend your time doing something. So I thought, let me ask you the question. For me personally, if I am not doing hearing and I'm not listening to lectures or reading, I find I will still do my chanting, but the quality goes down. Like when I'm traveling out of the country, it does happen. But like you said, unless you're doing all three, you're doing service, you're doing Shravanam, it's only then your chanting will be good.
Also, please don't beat yourself up if you can't chant a lot extra. That's okay because you can artificially also do it. But we need to slowly push ourselves because each one of us is unique. You know, I learned this from my mentor, Shiksha Guru. Now he's very friendly with me, Gauranga Prabhu. He's the one who actually, he's the one who preached to me. But out of his kindness, he gives me love and affection now as a friend. But I remember once in a yatra, in my Guru Maharaj yatra, Everybody was rushing to take darshan to different temples. You know, in Vrindavan, you get on the bus stops. There are 10 buses filled with devotees. They all go for the special darshan in this temple. Then come back to the bus, then go to the next spot, and then they take special darshan there. And go to the, it's all running around the yatra. So I'm not so fascinated by all of this. So in the bus, everybody got down. All the brahmachari bus, we all got down. And I was like, okay, let them go and take darshan. Some temple, some place in Vrindavan. And after everybody left, I came inside the bus. I thought, let me sit in the last row, relax till everybody comes back. So I wanted to read and memorize book. I told you yesterday I carry this verses book. So sharing this. So I was like, I'll read this. So I went in the last row and I was shocked. I saw one brahmachari there. My dear friend Premji Das. He was hiding there. We were hiding because as a rule we are all supposed to be with the group. But I was not comfortable. So both of us were sitting behind and both of us were, he was reading his own book, I was reading my verses. And then after 5 minutes, when everybody is still in the temple, I saw Gauranga Prabhu, he was the like ashram leader. He is coming towards the bus for some work. And I said, Prabhu, Gauranga is coming. He is in charge. If he sees us that we are not with the group, he may chastise us. We are supposed to follow the party line. Brahmachari is all supposed to be together. So what do we do? So we can't hide. We were in the last row anyways. Just hoping he doesn't see us. So he said, let's hope. And then he enters Gauranga Prabhu. As if he knew that we are sitting in the last row. He walks directly to us. And we are like, very sheepish, as if apologetic. Sorry Prabhu, sorry. Why are you apologizing? It's perfectly okay. You like to read Bhagavatam? Read Bhagavatam. Enjoy. In Krishna consciousness there is so much variety. Don't get bogged down. Just do the basic minimum vows that you have taken. The rest follow your heart. And then I realized after he left, he encouraged me to read, memorize verses, and he left. And then I realized that as grahastha, when you are staying outside, this is for you, you already have enough obligations, right? I mean, there are many things you have to do. I mean, you may not want to do, but you have a lot of obligations, right? Yeah. You have to do it. You may not like to do it. And when you come to Hare Krishna, and as a preacher I bombard you with more obligations, where will you go for relief? You will go for Netflix. So what I do as a preacher is, I tell people, choose some minimum obligation. Choose some minimum to do, have to do in ISKCON. And rest follow your heart. Then you will feel nourished. And when you are happy, then you will do more service. So it's important that's why I say Anandam Prabhu chants the whole day, but his son does duty worship. And his father, and Anandam Prabhu is very intelligent. He encouraged his son to follow his calling. So like that. So I think we should be smart and we should follow our heart's calling. If you like to hear like yesterday Krishna Mataji was saying, can I hear the whole day? That's great. If you can hear Krishna Katha, Krishna Leela whole day, that's amazing. Hare Krishna. Any other comments or questions? Yes, Prabhu. We'll end with this last question. Is that okay, Mataji? Last question.
It's the last comment you made about Grihastha life. It's about how we change the mood from thinking about doing things for ourselves and not instead think about how I'm going to get something for Krishna, how I'm going to cook for Krishna, how I'm going to dress for Krishna. All that helps. It's just about changing our mood.
Yes. Perfect. You are right. Good. Just change our mood. Yes, thank you. But there's two things in a relationship, When you love someone, you do things for that person which the person wants. And you also offer that person what you like. Similarly with Krishna, I chant 16 rounds because Krishna wants it. Krishna has told me through his devotees, my Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada. So to please Krishna, I chant 16 rounds. But I also write poetry and journals. Because that's what I can offer Krishna. See, we can't offer Krishna what we don't have. So, I may be broken, I may be imperfect, but I have something. And that's the way I can offer Krishna. I remember, so you see what I'm saying? Like, you need both. What Krishna wants, for Krishna's pleasure we do, but we also need to offer what we have, what we like also. Like, Krishna, in Bengal, Panchatattva deities, not Mayapur temple, there's one devotee family I know in Kolkata, they are also Panchatattva deities. So that Prabhuji, he cooks shak. Bengal is very famous for shak. You go to any even poor family, they'll have at least 4 sabzis, 5 sabzis, because shak is. So they offer shak for Panchatattva every day in their bhoga. But the daughter, she's a little older, she's a teenager now. She offers pizza and pasta because she loves pizza and pasta. So she says, Prabhu, I cook shak also for Panchatattva. I offer Panchatattva what they like, because they like shak. Because there are so many bhajans in the Ekadina Shanti Pure bhajan where Mahaprabhu is enjoying shak. So they offer shak for the Lord. But she also offers pizza because she likes pizza. Then that's the way it is. We offer Krishna what we like, and we also offer Krishna what he likes. One child gave my Guru Maharaj. We went to somebody's house. Somebody gave a rose to my Guru Maharaj. Somebody gave a garland. Somebody, this child, she had a toy. She gave a toy to Maharaj. Guru Maharaj laughed and he said, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. There is a verse in the Gita which says, Krishna accepts Patra, Pushpa, flower and leaf, Toyam is water. So Toyam, Maharaj said Toyam. So yeah, I think we need to offer Krishna what we have. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So once again, my sincere gratitude. Hope to see you in the afternoon session for we discuss on journaling. All of you will need to have something to write for journaling workshop. It will just 1 hour, but we'll do what is called as micro journaling. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Harinam Prabhu ki jai. Namataya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for that wonderful session. I got a little worried. I thought you were going to tell everyone to chant 128 rounds and then who'll come and volunteer. So I'm glad you said what you did at the end. So yes, we also need to chant.